Welcome again to the next edition of Republican Stronghold. Today my guest is Don Loucks. He's a candidate for Bastrop County Judge. Welcome, Don. And
thank you, Jessica,
for taking the time to come out and speak with me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I think the Lost Pines Republican Women is a vital organization. I am proud to be interviewed here by you. Thank you.
Thank you. In learning more about you and your background, I'd like to share a little bit with our audience, if you don't mind. And then I'd like you to share with them what the county judge does and your responsibilities, as well as what you would like to see if you are elected in March.
Certainly. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. My life has been one of service. I started at 14 joining the Civil Air Patrol and have been in military uniform almost the whole time since then. 22 years in the Air Force as a fighter pilot, instructor pilot, and test pilot. And then joining the Texas State Guard and serving as a soldier, as a military emergency management specialist. And then in the Bastrop County Veterans Honor Guard, I was the first Republican elected to office here in Bastrop County as a county commissioner in 2000. I was very proud of that. I love that work. I became a firefighter. I'm a certified firefighter too, fire commissioner. I belong to a Lost Pines Bible Church. I'm very proud of that. And I just continue serving. And that's what I do in life. The Republican Party is my home politically. Conservatism is very important. You wanted me to get into what the county judge does. County judge, I love this because this is Texas. We have a railroad commission that has nothing to do with railroads. And the county judge and the commissioner's court, it's not really a court, but we like to call it that. It's tradition. The county judge is a presiding officer of the governing body of the county. That's consisted of 4 county commissioners elected from apportioned precincts and the county judge who is elected countywide. The constitutional duties of the judge and the commissioner's court is to produce the budget for the county, the tax rate, and administer county property such as roads and buildings and other services as required. So it's a big job. Bastrop is a growing county and it needs a lot of attention that way. And the judge should allocate the scarce tax resources very carefully to be most effective.
Right. So you're running against the current county judge. What would you bring differently to the position?
Leadership, training, and dedication. The 35 years I served in the military was very valuable to me, not just in the experience I gained as a leader, as a flight commander, a formation commander, and then in the State Guard as a shelter commander during the 3 hurricanes we had. But it also taught me strategy and tactics. And governing a county we have to interact with a lot of different agencies, a lot of different levels of state government. And it's important that we have someone who's willing to take the ball and run with it and make things happen and be proactive. I can give you an example of that if you'd like.
Please.
I was very concerned about and transportation is a big issue in Bastrop because we're growing. Highway 71 runs through Bastrop. It really has interstate level traffic volume. And TxDOT is way behind on providing the services, the improvements to that we need. And that is overpasses at the intersection of 1209, Hope Bend, and Tucker Hill. I understand they just broke ground at Tucker Hill, but I haven't seen anything being done. Cross traffic going from one side of 71 to the other to change direction is very dangerous. At Old 71, where I live, there have been numerous accidents, some involving members of Lost Pines Republican Women. And there was recently a fatality of an 82-year-old woman who was killed at the crossover at Old 71. The proposed fix that TxDOT is proposing is not adequate. And I can tell you that right now, it's not even logical. And they're fighting valid suggestions tooth and nail. They don't want to change the direction they're going. They're pretty much petrified in what they're doing. So I I put together a coalition to visit the regional engineer and express our displeasure at what's going on, suggest what we should do. We had 3 members of HOAs that are on the road, 2 subject matter experts, a mayor and a county commissioner, and me. And we were met with deaf ears, but that didn't stop us, and we continued. We got involved with our state senator, Senator Schwertner, who's been very helpful in getting this going. And I think with the upcoming meetings that we have scheduled, we will actually get progress on that. That's what I do. I identify problems. I take the corrective action necessary to solve the issues and make things better. So, leadership, dedication, and training are very important to the job as county commissioner. I would just ask that you compare my qualifications to that of the current county judge. I ask that you can compare my qualifications with that of the current judge.
Sounds good. So share with our audience why they should vote for you. I mean, you said, what you would like to do differently than the incumbent, but for those people who don't know you as well, why should they vote for you?
There are 3 issues that I see are the most important that should be addressed by the county judge, and that is public safety, infrastructure, and development. The safety aspect really involves the sheriff's department, which I know has been underfunded. It's kind of sheriff's departments, police departments are generally kind of put on the back burner unless something catastrophic happens. The whole point of funding a sheriff's department, and emergency services for that matter, is to get ahead of any kind of emergency we might have, so we have the resources to deal with that. I am a certified Texas emergency manager. That's a doctorate level certification. And I just want to mention that every county judge in Texas is responsible for emergency management in their respective county. If I'm elected, I'll be the only county judge who's actually certified as an emergency manager. I think that'd be very beneficial to the county. The second thing I meant to mention is tax burden. Property taxes need to be reduced and eliminated. They are unjust. We tax people out of their homes. And you heard the saying, well, if you have to pay the government to keep your home, you really don't own your home. That has a ring of truth to it. And that that burden needs to be removed, especially for seniors and people and retirees who've done their work and need to have their home safe. Development is a big issue. Bastrop is a suburban county now. We're not rural anymore. We have an influx of population. It's really, really steady, strong growth. That's good and bad. The problem is the growth being a burden on existing infrastructure and how to pay to improve the infrastructure to support it. For example, counties in Texas have absolutely no power to govern land use. We have none. We approve subdivision plats, for example, but if the plat conforms with state law, the county must approve it or the county will be sued. So I would propose to work with the state legislature via an organization of suburban and rural counties to get legislation passed to protect us from that kind of burden. Now, how do we do that? I don't like the term zoning. I think that's something municipalities have the advantage of. Municipalities can zone, they can regulate land use, counties cannot do it all. So what I would say is that what we need to start in with being able to manage density. In other words, if we have one development that will be developed and put the amount of homes in that area would be a burden on the roads, on the water, on the other infrastructure, that we would have some say in regulating that. And I'll give you an example. I won't name the subdivision, but there's one subdivision nearby where I live that has been replatted 6 times. And each time, the lots were made smaller and smaller and smaller, most recently 0.3 acres per lot. Now, what does that do? If you keep reducing the size of the lots, you're reducing the size of the homes. The people who tend to have, families who tend to have small homes have children. So there you have a burden with the schools, you have the burden with transportation, and it just puts a load on the infrastructure and the schools and everything else that makes it difficult to keep up with. I want to keep up with what's going on.
Thanks, Don. And thanks again for coming out and sitting with me and sharing with our audience what you would like to see with the new position. And we wish you luck in March.
Well, thank you. I would appreciate your vote, citizens' votes here in Bastrop County. Don Loucks 4 Texas.com is my website, and I would appreciate your support.
Thanks, Don. Tune in again for another edition of Republican Stronghold. Thanks for tuning in. God bless.